Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Abdul Hafid, and today I'm going to show how you can create your own auth system using Nuxt JavaScript and Laravel. Why we're going to do this tutorial? Because when I switched from Vue to Nuxt to use SSR, server-side rendering, it was quite hard to do an auth system, and I think this tutorial will help you out as well. So I have already created two files already. I will show you now pretty quick. I have now auth_system and auth-system. In the auth-system, I have obtained a Nuxt project by just go to the CMD and type this right here. Okay, and the same thing in the auth_system. I created Laravel app by just typing composer create Laravel/Laravel and the name of the app, in our case system. Why I did this in the background? Because they do take a long time till they download, so I just created them, and now I opened them in the background in VS Code. The green one is the Nuxt and the red one is the Laravel. So now I guess we can just start creating our auth system pretty quick. So let's get started. Okay. So first of all, let's start with configuring your Laravel app. When you get into it, everything will be closed. Okay, never mind. We will go to the .env file, and here we can configure everything about our app. So the name, I'll stick with Laravel for now. Now the most important part is the database, so I'll just configure the database. It's not SQLite, I use MySQL. And for the name, I will go with auth-system. Here, we can just create a new one. I have already created one, which is auth-system. And I migrated by using PHP Artisan migrate. So you know what, let me just do it with you, why not? So now if I type PHP Artisan migrate, it will do everything. It will do all the tables, but I have already published the tables. Also, we have to install PHP Artisan install API. So what does this do? Basically, it will just create us an API file and download Sanctum to start dealing with authentication using APIs. We have two ways. We have the session paste and API token authentication. API token is not actually suggested by Laravel to be used in SPAs. Why? Because we use tokens mostly for third-party apps, like Flutter app maybe, so we use tokens. But for SPAs, in our case Nuxt JavaScript, even though it's a server-side rendering, it will still work. We have to use SPA authentication. So yeah, to start SPA authentication, you have to have Sanctum and APIs, so just PHP Artisan install API. It takes a long time as well, so I have done it already, and they just have created me this file. It has this get with this middleware. So yeah, that's cool. Now we can actually follow the documentation of SPA authentication. First of all, by configuring your first party domains. First, you should configure which domains your SPA will be making requests from. You may configure these domains using the stateful configuration option in your Sanctum. Here they are talking about which, like it's like me telling Laravel Sanctum which requests from which domain you should actually consider as a stateful authentication, not tokens. So it's like me, oh hey Laravel, please from this domain, any request should be stateful. What do we mean by stateful? That means that we're going to use cookies, we're going to use session-based, not tokens. How to do this? We can just go to our .env file, and then we will have stateful. If we don't have it, it's like now we don't have it. We're just going to the config sanctum, and then we have the sanctum stateful domains right here. We're just going to copy it and put it in the .env file, and then local host 3000. So I'm just specifying which domain will be considered stateful. That means being used cookies and session-based authorization. With Sanctum, I told them, okay, so it's going to be localhost 3000. So now let's complete. And then we should add the Sanctum middleware. This Sanctum middleware will make any route in our routes file to be stateful. That means again to use cookies and session-based, etc. So we'll just go to bootstrap app.php and add it right here, which I already have. So like it's telling Laravel that those requests will be coming from the stateful domain. It should also have stateful API middleware. I mean, they should have like special headers, special tokens, session ID, etc. Then we're just going to config course and cookies. What is course in a very short definition is like telling Laravel which domains you should be accepting requests from. So we can publish a config for course very quick. We just paste it. And now we will have it in config. As you can see, paths, I'm going to allow every path because this is an API server. The allowed origins is going to be localhost 3000. These are the allowed servers to use the APIs in this. And also we going to, in the session.php, which we do we do have it right here. The session domain is going to be localhost. So to be able to use session-based, the front end and the back end should be at least in the as the same subdomain. Okay, so for example, something backend.example.com and frontend.example.com. This is considered as the same, so that's why the sessions should be on the same subdomains, so we can actually share cookies. Now we have the CSRF protection. The CSRF protection is just going to add the CSRF token in the browser when we do request. Why? Because it's like just having a secure measurement to be able to send cookies from this specific front end and from the specific browser. Because if we don't have this header, it will not accept our cookies, which we don't want this. We want them to accept our cookies. So yeah, we will not care about this because it will be done by itself using our library. So yeah, that's it. Now we can start our journey in doing the login authentication now. The login mechanism. To do this, we need PHP artisan make controller. We need the controller. We will just call it auth controller. HTTP auth controller. Here, actually, I do already have functions I already made. Why I'm going to add them now? Because I don't want to make this video super long. I will just show you the main things. So in these functions, I will have the register function. It will validate using request validate a name, an email, and a password with a confirmed. Confirmed, that means I should send password and password confirmation on this specific request. And then I will just create the user and send back the user as a JSON with a 200 status without doing any auth login, if you can actually see, without even creating any token. This is just meant for creating a user. Then we have a login. A login right here, it's the same thing. I will just validate. I will then check if these email and password actually uh, a real user? If yes, it will automatically, because I used auth attempt, do a session for this specific user. If not, it's going to return this message, invalid credentials. And then if it's true, if there's a user, it will create a session, and then I will just regenerate these sessions for this user. Why I do this? Simply because each time you log in, you will have the same session, right? When you log out, this session will not be deleted. It will be the same till you, for example, get back on. Because the session is not just an ID, it's an ID, it's with a payload, it's with your device credentials. That's why each time I want to log in, I want to regenerate, because if I logged out and logged in again, I want to have a new ID for these sessions. So yeah, that's it. And for the logout, I will just simply auth logout, and this will take all the user ID from the sessions, and then I will invalidate these sessions, and then I will just regenerate them for security measures. And that's it. It's pretty easy. I think maybe you guys would find it confusing with the auth. Maybe you will tell me, how did Laravel know that auth logout, that means to log out the user? Because simply we will send a session ID token, and they will know that, okay, this session is the logged in user. It's like doing Blade with Laravel, but this time with SPAs. So that's it. Now we can just do the routes for the API. Let me do it very quick as well. So we need a post one. We will call it /register. To register a new user, it's an auth controller class with a function called register. It doesn't need any middleware. I'm going to do then one for the login, and lastly one for the logout. That's it. Now we have our Laravel set to start authenticate users by session based with Sanctum. So yeah, that's now complete. So now we will just close it, not close it, like go to the front end now and start doing it. First of all, I just created a layout page, an auth and default. There's nothing in them, just auth and default. And then I created an index page. It also has nothing. And that's it. That's the only thing I did so far. So now if I went to the localhost 3000, I will find nothing. In the index page, I could just put anything. We will see it. Let's add Tailwind and Daisy UI, because to be honest, much more cool, easier. Install. We're going with Nuxt. So yeah, we have to first of all download the Daisy UI with the Tailwind. And then we can have here tailwind.config. Then we will just put this in the Nuxt config. We will add Vite plugins, and we'll add Tailwind, CSS, cool. Then I will create an assets file, CSS file, folder. Then we're just going to have the main.css. We'll put these in it, and in the Nuxt config, I will just specify which I'm going to use. assets slash css slash main dot css. Now we can get back here, refresh, and hopefully we will have Tailwind with Daisy UI implemented. No, we don't. I think now we should. Yeah, we do. I want to add like a theme because I do hate the dark theme. We will just, okay, put it like this. I will go with synth, I forgot the theme. Yeah, synthwave. Synthwave. And I will go then to the app. Maybe we can go to any of those or just stick with the app. I will open an HTML tag using Nuxt. Actually, Nuxt is pretty wild for adding this because this is super good to have the idea of having like an HTML tag like this. Okay, cool. So now we have that synthwave theme, which is much more cooler than the black one. So the pages have an index.view. So let's first of all config the layouts, the auth and the default. For auth, let's go and search for a nav bar in wait. Cool. So now let's go here and search for a nav bar, and add a simple one. I think this one's much more cooler, the coolest thing so far. We have auth, and for the default one, let's start with the auth one. You know what? Let us create another page, call it login.view, and also register.view. Just add a vbase, setup, and the same one for the register. The only thing now is for the login and register, I'm going to define a page layout. Define page meta, and we will go with layout. It's going to be the auth layout, and the login and in the register. Cool. Let me now just go for the login one. Cool, we have now this one. Let's get back to the auth and modify auth system. I don't need any of these. I think I'll just wrap it with, I think if I remove the pay tag, I think I can now use Nuxt link, which is going to make us go from page to page. Under the hood is like it's an anchor tag. See? The two, I want it to go to slash login. Another one for register, and also here from login. Cool. So now we can switch from register and login pages simply by clicking on these. Yeah, cool. So we just created the auth and the auth layout, and now we can go to the login page probably and add simple form or UI. So here I will just put like a form, you know what? It's gonna put a form. It's going to be at submit.prevent. It's going to handle login. Cool. I will go now to, I'll just maybe put an h1 login page. Maybe h2. I'll go with B maybe. Why it's not working? h6. Maybe we'll stick with, okay, clash text slash XL. Maybe 2XL text slash bold or font slash bold. Cool. Maybe I'll just give the form like B/4. And also, before starting anything in the auth, I will just give this class container mx auto and then b4. I will copy these classes and put it for the default as well. Cool. Now let's complete the login page. I will add an mx auto, maybe mt10 w full. I think full is pretty big, 70 maybe. Let's go with bg primary to actually see. Okay, I think 70 is super small. 200 maybe. Maybe we go to like half the page, but width slash min 200 maybe. Maybe min slash, well, 200 is so big. Maybe 100. So yeah, I think that's super cool right now. Nice. Let's forget about this. We can add like B4. And now we can just add the inputs. I'll go to Daisy UI again. Search for input fields. Deal. Let's go to the primary one. Primary. This one. So I need 2 of them. Yeah. And I need a button. Class button slash primary w full. Those also should be full and full. We can go with mb3 4 maybe. Okay, same thing for here as well. mb/4 and maybe here mb/6. Cool. The button is going to say login. Placeholder is going to be not login page. The first one is going to be email. Type email. The second one is going to be password. And password as well. The color is so shit, to be honest. I will go with maybe secondary is much better. Let me see. Secondary. No, I will stick with the primary. Why not? So now let's make the handle login function. Const handle login function, and we will not put anything so far. I will copy the same page and put in the register. The only thing it's going to change now, it's handle register. It's going to be register page. It's going to have an email, a name, and then password confirmation, name. Yeah, I forgot in the login page to add a form data, const form data equal to a ref, which has nothing in it. Let's go with name, not name, sorry, email, and then we have password. And that's super cool so far. Let me just put the v model for them, v model form data dot name, I mean email, and also one here for password. Let me just do one as well as the register pretty quick. Email, then we'll add a name, and then we'll add a password underscore confirmation as well. Simply again v model form data dot name, form data dot email, and then form data dot password, lastly password confirmation. Cool. So now we have the pages for us actually ready. Let's now just do the index page pretty quick. The same thing, we need to have the same navbar default, but we're not going to have Nuxt link. We're just going to have a logout button. So button, or with A. Let's go with A. There's no to tag, there's just a log out at click and the logout. Let's just do simple const handle logout function right here. So cool, now we have the page, the default page, which is the index. Let's just name it. This is the index, our home page. Cool. So we have all the pages we need so far. We can go to the login. But now we have to implement the authentication. To do this, we have a Laravel Sanctum Nuxt library. It's called Nuxt Auth Sanctum. Let's read the documentation. It's pretty straightforward. It's amazing, to be honest. I do like it. Let's start with the installation. We have to install the library. And then we have to config things in the Sanctum, in the nuxt.config. Let us go here to actually show you. So we have a lot of things to config, a lot of things, but I'm just going to show you the important things. Cool? Cool. So first of all, we have to open it and make a base URL. A base URL is the URL we will use for our backend. Our case is going to be localhost 8000. I think so. Is it 8000? Not found. Let me see. Yeah, that is 8000. Yeah, it worked. Okay. All right. Let's now complete. Now we have the base URL. The mood, it's default value cookie, which we want to use cookie. We're not going to use tokens. Origin, never mind. I think the most important thing is these. I mean, we do have actually middlewares built in with this library, so I don't think I'm going to use these. I will just go with the endpoints and redirects. That's all of it. So let's start with endpoints. We have that login endpoint, I guess. Yeah. The login one is going to be /login. I mean /API/login, because we put in the, and then we have logout. It's going to be /API/logout. Cool. Now we have to redirect. We have redirect on login, on logout, on auth only, on guest only. I think we'll just stick with on login and on logout. So on login, it's going to be slash is authenticated, and on logout, it's going to go to /login. Cool. Pretty easy so far, right? We can then put a middleware for our pages, for example, like register, index, and index, login and register. For example, for index, I will put define page. Actually, it's built in with this library. We have a middleware. It's called, I think, Auth Sanctum. Or Sanctum Auth. one of them. Sanctum Auth, maybe. Let's see. Oh, what happened? I think everything should be working. Let me run it again. Let's see. So basically, these are built-in middleware by the library that. So if this is Sanctum Auth, this page will not be accessed only when the user is actually authenticated. And the same thing with them. Let's add these here before. So we can go with the middleware. We have not Sanctum. I do remember it's like the opposite of Auth Sanctum. Okay, so like Sanctum Auth. Then we have, I think, Sanctum Guest. Same thing for the register. Okay, is it working? It is working. Cool. Now if I went to the home page, it will redirect me back to login because simply I cannot access this page. So pretty cool. Pretty amazing. So now we have to implement the logic behind login and register. So let's start with the register. If we do remember, in the register we just do one thing and one thing only, which is just to create a new user. So before we start, let me now just explain something pretty quick. Now, using cookie-based authentication, you have to send an CSRF token, the session. The problem with the CSRF token is that you have to add this to the cookie header before even doing any request. So that's why we have two requests. We can look at this from this documentation. See, I have to do the Sanctum CSRF cookie and then do my main request. That's why the library that we're going to work with, that we are working with, give us composables. And these composables we use to make life much more easier. For example, use Sanctum Auth. Use Sanctum Auth is simply we can get the user that's actually logged in right now, that is authenticated, the login, the logout methods, which we're gonna use. We have then user sanctum user is basically the same as this one, but we have then the most important three for me is sanctum client, sanctum fetch, sanctum lazy fetch. Sanctum client is the same as the $fetch in Nuxt 3. So we have a Nuxt utility, like in data fetching, we have like fetch, use fetch, and use async data. So, we also have another one called use lazy fetch. Use lazy fetch is meant for the client side. Use fetch is good for backend, for the server side and the client side rendering. Use async data is the older version of the use fetch. You know, it gives you more control. And then you have the $sign fetch. We just do this to make simple requests, to make post requests. And these are actually meant more for fetching. So they implemented these three in the library. So you don't have to send cookie each time. So you can use sanctum client when you want to actually use fetch. You use sanctum fetch when you want to use fetch, and then use sanctum fetch when you want to use lazy fetch from Nuxt. So yeah. So by knowing this, all we have going to do is just const. Let's take login from I think use sanctum auth, use sanctum auth. So what are we going to do is pretty easy. We will create the user and then logging it in. So we're going to do two requests. To do this, we have to log in. So I'm just going, to register. So I'm going to use the use sanctum client in a very easy way. So I'm just going to const give me the data from, and wait, let me just put this in the same function to work. Use sanctum client. I'm going to send the slash. Before doing this, we have actually to config our Nuxt config to have a base URL as well for the run, like an environment variable. So let me do this pretty quick. Runtime config public. We will go with base URL, and we will just copy this. Cool. So now in the registered view, we can actually call const config equal use runtime config, and this will make us, when we want a sanctum client, we can just bind it with config.public dot base. I think there's something wrong. Use runtime config dot public dot base URL. I think there's a problem. Oh. Let me just, console.log the config on register, because I want to see if it's proxy object. Yeah, it's working. Cool. I thought there's something wrong. Okay. So then I will hit the /API/register, and we will add like options. The method's going to be post method. Cool. I'm going to add some headers. Not headers, the body. It's going to be the JSON. Okay, that's complete. So I will just now put JSON dot uh, JSON dot stringify the form data dot value because it's a ref. So now simply what I'm doing is I'm sending now this like thing, you know, to register, and then I will just await login using the credentials, which is the as well form data dot value. Hopefully it will work. Hopefully. So start with Muhammad, for example, this email, and then any password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Let us open the inspect and we cross our fingers and hopefully it will work. Login. We have a problem. No response, failed to fetch API/login. Okay, there's a problem. Has been blocked. Localhost API login from origin has been blocked. The response to prefer. Okay, so we have like a course error. Let me now see if why do we have this error. Localhost 3000. Okay. Not support credentials should be true. This is one of the problems I forgot to do. Now hopefully it will work. It's not working. Let's see the network tab. What about this? It's not sending any. So allowed origins is localhost 3000. True. Headers. There's something wrong, but I don't know what is it, to be honest. Let's test again. What about this? Of course, even though I'm sure it's true because I have built this one before. Oh yeah, okay. The problem is simply that I forgot to add the HTTP, so it's not like a domain, it's the headers. Okay, cool. So now hopefully it will work. Let's do this. Login. There's a problem, but that's okay. Problem is we are having an accept. So what is the response? Invalid credentials. But let's just see, did it actually create a user? No, it didn't. Okay. I think now the problem is unauthorized. Okay, no, I'm not logging in now. I'm registering. How is it unauthorized? I can't understand, to be honest. Review the credentials. Yeah, I know it's invalid credentials because it didn't even call. So what about if we did this and Muhammad, let's log in. The thing is we're just doing like both logins, and I don't want this. I want to do some of like there's no register request, which I don't know why. So let's refresh again. Put this email. Let's test. So in the network, there should be a register, right? Okay. I don't know. Maybe we should do the same way they did. So const client and the documentation equal use sanctum client. Then you just call client. Yeah, okay. So the problem is that I should have used the same way they did in the documentation, which is like this. Okay, cool. So now, if I made this, okay. Oh my God. Okay, now, hopefully, when I click login, I should register. We have a problem. We will see what is the problem. Undefined method register. Let's see if we have problem with the API. Okay. Register. Okay, that's true. Okay. Register. Okay, now it will work, hopefully. Please. Login. Yes. Cool. It worked, finally. Alright. So basically what happened that I called the register one, I got logged in, and then it requested the login again, so I can log in right here. So it's pretty cool so far. So in the index.view as well, we can actually now see other composables by them. For example, they do have the use Sanctum user, maybe. We can go with use Sanctum auth. Let's use Sanctum auth. What about this? So we have const, we can get is authenticated equal the use Sanctum user. Okay, that's great. So let us put is authenticated. Let us see. Is authenticated. Am I something wrong? I think it's. Oh yeah. Sorry. The problem is Sanctum auth, not user. So now we should see it, right? No, I don't. Why? It's the same, right? We'll just test again. Yeah, okay, now it's working. I think I just missed. Cool, so now there's like a true one right here. So cool, now it works. Simply now it works. Now let's just implement the logout pretty easily the same way. And the logout, we will just call const logout equal use sanctum auth, I guess. Const. Then we will just await to log out. I'm just gonna put sync. Now let's test it. It works, pretty cool. Now let's just do it for the login. the same thing pretty easily. I'll just take it from here. And then I will just await to login with the form data dot value. And you just put async. And that's it. Now I think it should be working at the login. Let's wait. Yes, it does work. Logout works and register works. So now everything simply works. And then we can use now the auth. Now we can use the use Sanctum fetch, like the same way we did in the register, which is, what is it? Yeah, use Sanctum client. We can use the client to fetch, like the $ fetch. We can use the use fetch, and it will send the authentication tokens by itself. And then, for example, here we can add a new route that send. Let me just demonstrate this pretty quick so you can guys see what I'm talking about. Slash, for example, message, and this will just send a simple function that return response JSON. We can go with, for example, hey, or like message equals hey. And we can add, for example, a middleware auth sanctum. So this one will not work only if I'm just authenticated. So let me just demonstrate that pretty quick. I will take this as well. Let's go to the index. The same thing, I will just call the client, and I will just await API slash message. Okay, now it's complete. So message API slash message. I'm not going to send anybody. I'll just use the post method. And then I will just, let's put the answer in and a data equals, and then we will just, here maybe, I'm going to show the data dot the data. That's it. So now on login, we should see the message being sent. Is there a problem? Should be a problem, right? Config is not defined. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now it should be working, I guess. Yeah, cool. See, now we have the message, which is pretty cool. And this is just meant for the users who are authenticated. So if I removed the middleware auth, I can now use it even if not authenticated. But this will just make me do it when I'm authenticated. So let me demonstrate this again by just take this and put it in the login. Okay. And simply I'll just show here the data. If I logged out in the login, see, unauthorized. I get this error because it's unauthorized. That's a pretty cool thing actually. But if I removed the auth middleware, I could now simply see the message. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy to do. So yeah, that was a tutorial. That's how you can do an auth system using server-side rendering. As you can see, it's pretty cool with Nuxt and Laravel and Sanctum session based authentication. So yeah, thanks for watching and thank you.